Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Life of Barney. Today, we're making the absolute most epic beef injection liquid. Roll the intro. That's right. You folks have probably seen, actually some of you might not have. If you go back to my history, I'll put a link to it in the description as well. I did a video already on how to make stock. Just with vegetables, you boil them down over several hours. The liquid that you're left over with can be used as stock. You can season it for broth, yada, yada, yada. My whole intent today, I'm not making stock. I'm actually making a combination between broth and an injection liquid. So I'm going to take the same process, boiling down all of my leftover veggie bits. I've got all these bags behind me. I'll show you as I add them into the container I'm going to boil them in. Same process. Going to chop a couple onions just in half, throw them right in there, skin and everything. I'm going to crush some garlic, throw it in there, skin and everything, just for the freshness of it. I will also be adding some beef ribs. So I saved all the bones the last time I did beef ribs. We're going to throw those in there, so that's what will contribute to a lot of the beef flavor in the liquid. And last but not least, I saved the drippings from the last time I did a blade roast and the last time I did beef ribs. I'm going to be adding this in, and the final touch to really give it the flavor profile I'm looking for so I can use it as an injection is the same beef rub that I used the last time I did a blade roast and beef ribs. Friendly reminder, when you're making stock, just want to cover the contents with water. It'll take a little while for the water to come up to a boil, so I have the burner set to high. There's a lot of liquid in there. But once it does come up to a boil, I'll turn the heat back a little bit just so it simmers. And I'll check on this probably every hour. Have a little audience. Yes, vicious dogs, be so careful. Right, Wilbur? That's right. I'll check in with you folks soon. Hey everybody, welcome back. We're at the 30-minute mark. I've got a great rolling boil. I'm gonna turn this down because at the end of the day, there's stuff at the bottom of the pot where it's hottest because the flame is touching the bottom of the metal itself. I don't want anything burning to the bottom. We're at the 40-minute mark now. I've added all the drippings and whatnot into the pot. They're going to melt down, and they're going to be in there probably for at least another 3 hours, maybe longer. It depends on how quickly this starts boiling down. I personally believe, it's a bit of an experiment, I personally believe it's really going to help amp up the beef flavor. And then towards the end, I'm going to season to taste as it continues to boil down. You guys stay tuned, I'll be right back. It's the 1 hour and 50-minute mark. I'm impressed at how quickly it's boiling down. Side note, I've never done this in my turkey fryer pot before. They normally, you guys have seen, I did it in my how to make stock video. I did it on the stove in the house. So, you know, at 4 hours of doing it on the stove, it's half of what we start with. Here on the turkey fryer, we're coming up to 2 hours and we're already at about half of what we started with. But let's get in there and have another look. Why don't you guys come in here for a sec? Oh, it's getting nice and cloudy. That means there's lots of flavor happening in there. I'm excited about that. Make sure you're stirring it. You know, every 15 minutes or so, you want to scoop everything off the bottom. Make sure nothing's burning to the, or getting stuck to the bottom of the pan, because there is flame underneath. Even if you did this in a stovetop that's not gas-based, if you had an electric range, you're still going to have the same issue. Every 15 minutes or so, you need to come by and give that a good stir. Oh, I wish you guys could smell this. It smells great. Check in with you guys in a little bit. Stay tuned. Wilbur, sit. Good boy. We're at the 3 hour, 30-minute mark. This is kind of an important time when you're boiling down the liquid. The lower the liquid gets, the easier it is and the faster it will start boiling off. This is also the point where I like to take a little taste test. When you put your spoon in there, just word of caution, little safety, be careful, it's boiling liquid. Okay, you get a little splatter on your hand, it's not going to be that big of a deal, it's not the end of the world. Alright, let's see here. It smells so good. Right on. It should taste almost like a vegetable smoothie with no flavoring or anything. A little watery. That's about where you want it. I'm still going to let this go probably for another 30 minutes or so to get to the 4 hour mark. I really want this to be a concentrated stock so that when I start adding the seasonings and really turn this into a broth, more so the beef injection for my rump roast recipe, I really, really want it concentrated in the veggie flavor. So we still have at least another half hour. Again, I said at this point, 3.5 hour mark, this is when you really need to start watching the liquid. Make sure you keep stirring it. The less liquid, everything's coming down to the bottom, the more likely things are to get burnt and stuck to the bottom of the pan. And if they burn, it's going to put that burnt flavor into the entire liquid. Everything will be ruined. Keep an eye on it. I'll check in with you guys in a little bit. I think it's boiled down enough. I'm getting pretty low on liquid. I would almost say I'm getting to that risky point where if I walk away for more than 15 minutes at a time, this thing is going to start taking off with respect to how quickly it will be boiling off the liquid, because there is not nearly as much liquid in there as we started with. At this point, the question is, in a big bucket or a big pot like this, how do you get all the boiled down vegetables out of there? Well, if you're like me and you have some extra buckets lying around, and you also have a fine mesh sieve, you can scoop out as much as you can using the sieve and dump it into the bucket. At the end of the day, the boiled down veggies are all going into the compost or the garbage, but I need to get started on that, and I'll bring you guys along for the journey. Let's do it. I like this particular sieve that I have because it has the handle on the other side. I can rest it on the top of whatever pot I'm using. It'll be hard to hear background noise, birds, wind, the boiling liquid inside and everything. But there's so much liquid in here, it's actually dripping constantly into the stock below. When you have the majority of the various pieces of sediment and boiled down vegetables removed, there's still going to be a little bit left over. All that means is you need another pot that you can transfer all of this liquid into through your sieve. It's now time, now that you've got most of the sediment out of there, now we can go ahead and season. For the seasoning, I'm just using my typical beef rub. Salt, pepper, garlic, a little bit of onion powder, a little bit of paprika, and a little bit of cayenne pepper, just for the hint of heat. When you're seasoning your stock to turn this into a broth or get it closer to that injection-ready liquid, remember, you can always add more. But if you put too much in at first, you can't take it back. Just go slow. Take your time. That's barbecue, right? We haven't even fired up the barbecue yet. We're still doing the prep work to barbecue. But that's what it's all about. Patience, take your time, experiment a little. So just go slow. A little bit at first, and you can go up from there. Not bad. We're almost there. It smells really good, but it's still just a little bland. Right on. That's it right there, folks. That's the one. And once you put everything into jars and it all goes in the fridge and you use it a few days from now, whatever, there will be a thin layer of fat that congeals on the top. You can scoop it out with a spoon. Take your soup ladle. This is a funnel that is specifically designed for mason jars or Ball brand jars. Alright, that's enough for this one. I'll fill up the next jar. I might have 1.5 more jars worth of liquid to fill up. But otherwise, this smells incredible. I already did a taste test when I was still outside. This is going to be a fantastic beef injection. Hopefully everybody had an opportunity to learn something. It's a bit more of an advanced stock method compared to the first video I did last summer. Let me know in the comments, when you make your beef injections, what do you use as your base? Do you make some kind of a stock first and then season? Or do you just do some water, boil it with a bit of seasoning, and call it a day? Let me know in the comments down below. Slap the like button if you found this helpful. Subscribe if you're not already. It lets me know that you folks want to see some more content like this. Okay, folks, thanks a lot for watching. And don't tell my parents I was smoking in the backyard. I'll see you next time.